Okay, it started recording. Now, what I was saying, let's quickly revise all the stakeholders, because when we take any decision in a company as a manager, we have to think of the 7 stakeholders, and all of them we have to consider. So, that's the quality of a good manager, that he considers all the 7 stakeholders and also asks simultaneously, am I meeting the conditions of ethical reasoning for all of them? You all will say it is not possible for us to meet all the conditions of all the stakeholders, isn't it? You agree? But we should try. We should try to the maximum that we meet the 7 conditions for all the 7 stakeholders. So, first is welfare, khair. So, this person who is doing the interview for the 3 candidates, he is thinking of the khair of all the 7 stakeholders. This person, will he do khair to the owners, to other employees, to the customers, to the stakeholders, investors, to government, to will he do, is he having any bad record of violating law? All those things you will think before hiring this person. So, that will be your first benchmark. Second is duty, wajib. So, when you perform any duty, any decision, you have to think, what is the moral requirement? How should I do this in the best possible way, where I am taking care of all the stakeholders? So, how will you know this? You learn this through experience, or in the books. You know that as a manager, when you should hire someone, you should do this, all these requirements you are fulfilling, so that there is no discrepancy, there is no everything is clear for other people to judge you. Nobody will blame you that you hired this person because he is your relative. You know, because you will say, see, this is the mark sheet, this is the score list, this is the performance in the interview. All of these are very clear, and I hired the best person, although he turned out to be my relative. So, that doesn't matter. If the person is good, he has the right to work in our company. So, it doesn't matter if he is my relative or not, he will work for the better of the company. So, that's the duty. So, duty is moral requirement. We have to learn, we have to find out. Before you go for taking the interview, you have to find out what is your duty in this, how should you perform this duty. That will take care of all the stakeholders of the company. Third, you have to also learn about the hukuk, rights of every stakeholder, for the investors. For example, there is a famous case. There was a company in India. They are multinational corporation, and they are now, I think they are now operating in Saudi also. They have got a branch. That is a family-owned business. You understand? Family-owned business. People who start a business, and I mean there are many here. And in the world, there are many companies who are family owned. You understand that? Family owned companies. Are you with me? Let me see, somebody wrote chat. Somebody wrote something. Yes. So, what is a family owned business? Yani the people from the family control the company. I think maybe in Bin Laden or Faqih, Raji, they are all, what do you say? They are all family owned companies. Yani the family members have the stake, have the control on the business, although there are employees. So, this company in India, they are called Tata, they manufacture many things. They hired, for the first time, they appointed a top manager, yani the CEO of the company who was from out of the family, from the direct family, and he was hired on huge pay, very big paycheck, and he was supposed to do very good works for the company. But in just 1.5 years, his name was Cyrus Mistry, in just 1.5, 2 years, there was a big rift between the new CEO and the company family members, and finally he was out, he was ousted from the company. Why was he ousted? What was the reason? Was he doing? But when you look at, it's a very famous case, you can find it in Google also. If you look at the case, you will see that the family members were right in their way, because this company stood for values, for equality, for rights of all. But this person, the CEO, he was taking undue advantage. You know, he was taking a lot of pay, which is not a practice of that company. You know, the company doesn't pay too much. Like if you are a CEO of a company of like Sundar Pichai of Google, or it may be Satya Nadella of Microsoft, they are getting huge pay because they are CEOs. But this company, but there are many companies who do not pay or do not compete in giving salaries to their top managers or managers. They believe that everything should be fair, because if you pay huge amounts to the top managers, then where does that money come from? The money comes from the capital, the profits, and that profit is the right of the shareholders also. So there, you know, we have to think of the rights. That's the third question. Rights of whom? All the 7 stakeholders. And what are those rights? That is the right by the virtue of human being. Every person who is born has a right. And who else? You know, every time, you know, it's very nice that we are learning this as Muslim brothers, because we have full set of ethical principles of business. And if possible, you know, we can do a project on Islamic business ethics. We can, all of us can compile a project on business ethics as per Islamic principles. That would be a very good contribution to this course, and we can also publish it. So the rights are very fully written in our religion. We don't have to look outside for defining the rights of investors, of shareholders, of suppliers, of customers. Each and every right has been written. So when we take decision regarding the rights of regarding a company policy or hiring someone or any policy of company, we have to think of the rights. Fourth, fairness. Google says it is al-insaf, equal treatment. And as we saw the example of the interview, we should ensure that it is equal treatment. Normally, tell me something, do you know what happens when you are the interviewer, you are a manager of the company, and when there are 3 candidates, one of them is your relative, what normally happens? What is the process? What is the policy in the companies, universities, anywhere? Suppose you want to become a TA here and you come for interview, and you are meeting the interviewer who is your relative. So what is the correct way for interviewer? What should he do? As a manager, what should you do? Have you heard about this problem? In such a case, what is the ideal way to deal with this situation? Can you tell me? Did you understand my question? Yazid says honestly, Muhammad says nepotism. Yeah, these are the problems. Suppose you have 3 candidates and one of them is your relative. Obviously, even if you are very fair, people may say that you are dealing with nepotism, you are doing nepotism. So, what do companies do? And this is not something we are discussing for the first time. If you look at the company policies or university policies, look at it and see and tell me if you have any idea what is the policy across the world. If you are hiring someone and if one of the candidates is known to you, what should the interviewer do? What do you say? Okay. Okay, this is your own assumption or your own answer. What do you have any knowledge what normally happens in such a case? What is the policy across the companies? Any guess what good companies will do in such a case? If the manager who is the interviewer very good, Muthanna, excellent. That's the common policy, and that is why, you know, when you will fill, suppose you want to join a company, you will submit the application form. In the application form, it will be written, do you have any relative working in this company? You will say yes, you have to write the name and full details of that person. And across the world, all the good companies, they will make sure that if the interviewer is related to the candidate, this interviewer will be dropped. And if you are a good manager, if you are the manager, what will you do? As Musanna said, he actually is not sure, but he is right, excellent. He should appoint someone else to take the interview. You decide on the benchmark, everything you will decide that, okay, you give for speaking 10 points, for maths 10 points, this. And finally, you will ask the person, appoint another person to take the interview. This way, we avoid all possible difficulties, all possible discrepancies in the selection process. So, what we are doing? We are giving equal treatment for this. We are taking us back from the interview process and making it as fair as possible. Although, you will find, you know, there may be cases where you don't have any person to do this. There, you know, you will have to do it yourself. And since we are more answerable to our Allah, so we have that ethical principle also. So when we decide, we make sure that we are doing it fairly. Equal treatment is given to all the candidates. Fifth, honesty. Honesty is what? Honesty means tell the truth. Like in the case of, can you tell me which case study we did? 3 cases we have done. Which example will suit here most? Which one do you think comes to your mind where it was a matter of telling the truth to the customer? Let me see if you are revising the portions I am giving to you. Who will answer? Which example fits here where the person was supposed or was expected to tell the truth to the customer? But we didn't know whether he did it or not, but that was the question. Let me see if you answered. Musanna, yeah, very good. The sales representative. Where are other students? Are you facing any difficulty? There are 22 students understanding me. Only few students are answering me. Yazid, Abdul Rahman, and these are Musanna. Try, you all try. Jasim, yeah, computer example, very good. All of you try, don't worry. You know, even if it is in Arabic, I can understand reasonably. Otherwise, I will ask you, what did you write? Or you can speak. Because, you know, it's online. All of you should participate. It will make interesting for me and you also. You can all, yes, the case 1, excellent. The case 1, Faisal was speaking. The case 1 of sales representative was a good example of telling the truth. to the customer. We do not know, I will check today, inshallah, I will send you the grades of the assignment. We do not know what he did actually, but ideally you should have told the truth. If we are ethical managers, we have done a course on business ethics and you are in his place, what will you do? You will tell the truth to the customer, see, this is the problem. And what will be the benefit or loss? There is a possibility that you will lose that customer, but does not matter. It does not matter to us. We will see that this will become our strength. We can show it to other customers that see, we told the truth. And you can see many advertisements of Apple, of many good companies, they promote ethics. They show you some examples where they are showing you the truth that this happened in our company and we changed. It is very good policy to tell the customers, to tell the stakeholders that there was a problem in my product and I changed it. That is honesty, to tell the truth. Sixth, respect to all, karama, dignity. You see in many companies, and now tell me which example comes to your mind when we say karama, dignity. 3 out of the 3, which one fits the most here? Let us see which one. Which company did we do any example where the company was treating one of the stakeholders very badly? Tell me. Let me ask your names. Child World, okay. So, was it really about treating badly someone? Tell me. Were they treating anyone badly in this example? Faisal? In the Child World, were they treating Child World badly in this example, or it was something else? There was another example where it was a clear-cut case of someone treating another one badly, another stakeholder badly. So, this one is I have eliminated this one. So, which one left? Which one is left now? Which example? Walmart, isn't it? What were they doing? Who were they treating badly? Walmart. Walmart was treating badly, isn't it? Whom? The employees. So, that is dignity. They were not giving respect, karama, to all. They were very good to the customers, they are very good to their investors, but you are not good to employees. So, that means we have to try to give as reasonable respect to all. You are my student, I am your teacher, we have other stakeholders also. We have to respect all. We have to respect, we cannot disrespect. So, even in our personal, your classroom, or and then this will translate into our company role as managers. We have to learn this, we have to respect, we have to think before taking any decision. We have to think whether I am being respectful to all the 7 stakeholders or not. If not, then we have to do some corrections, we have to make corrections. So, that is the 6th principle. The 7th one is an-nazaha. Is it the right translation for integrity? An-nazaha. An-nazaha, I have heard in here, I read in newspaper, there is a body here which is looking after corruption. Is it nazaha or something else? There is a, yes, I am right, okay. Musanna, thank you. So, there is a body here. What does integrity mean? What is nazaha? Who will tell? What do you understand by nazaha, an-nazaha, this word? In the description, it is a person's convictions. You believe in it and then you do it. For example, facial recognition, or your mobile phone helping you. It's a device which we carry every time, and we are all connected through internet 24 hours. Now the question comes before the person who is owner of the mobile company. He has to believe that what he is providing to the customers is 100% correct for him. Like, what happened in the case of Facebook. In the case of Facebook has faced so many problems, isn't it? What is the main issue with Facebook? Can you tell me? You must have read in newspapers or seen news. Let me see. I have to switch to privacy. Very good, Muhammad Hurayb. Very good. Excellent word, privacy. Privacy is a factor that has affected Facebook the maximum. Earlier, when Facebook was launched in USA, it was actually launched for a community college and for a group of students. From there, and the main purpose was that the students could interact with each other. They would share their experiences. It then expanded and became so big that today they have about 2 billion users across the world. Now the problem with Facebook started when they were going extra mile to make money. That's the main reason. And how are they doing that? Without the permission of the customers, of the users, they started sharing the data with outside bodies. That became the biggest issue, and that's not just with Facebook. There are other companies like Google. They also are into it. Instagram, all the online sites today. This is one of the problems that so later what happened? They started making changes. Apple was one company who always promised that we take care of your privacy. We do not compromise on privacy. I don't know how much is it true, but they assure. And there are many news that when FBI in USA, they were asking for some data about someone, some criminal. FBI, the Apple refused. They said this is against our company policy to share the data of a customer. So this is what we have to understand. An-nazaha, a person's convictions to do something. So that comes from within. That comes from our inner self, whether we should do this or not. So these are the 7 principles. So we learned also then a checklist, and I told you keep this checklist with you whenever any decision we take that is affecting others, especially when we go out and you become an employee as a manager. There it will become very handy for you to keep this checklist with you. Every time there is a decision making, check, ask questions for all the 7 stakeholders. Are you taking the correct decision? Now let's begin from the new slides that we have not covered so far. We will do it quickly because we have done a lot of discussion on ethical principles. The question was why law is not enough. Why the law is not enough. Now let's look at the case of HP. Let's look at again. We will quickly revise and then come back to this slide again. Here, what was the case? The case was that HP launched a new system called HP Sure Supply. HP is a company that makes printers, computers and accessories. So it was actually not just for customers, but it was more for the profits, revenues of the company, that they installed a chip in the printer. I hope you all remember and can understand better, because we did it in the last class also. They inserted a chip in the cartridges. Now, this cartridge has ink. When the ink level goes to a certain level, the cartridge, the chip will inform the driver, the HP driver installed in your computer, and after a point the printer will stop working, the cartridge will stop working. What was the problem? Who will tell? This is the sure supply problem policy, or the sure supply system. Now, what is the problem? It is a good system that at this level of ink, the cartridge or the printer will give warning to the user. There will be a message on your laptop or on your computer that your ink level is low, and then the cartridge will stop working. But what is the problem? What happened? What was the main problem? Tell me. What happened actually? Let me see if you read the case or not. Did you read the case of HP that we did in the last class? What happened with this sure supply campaign of HP? Are you trying? No? In the case of HP, what happened was, there was still ink in the cartridge, and the customers complained that why are you stopping my printer from working when the ink is still there? When the ink is still there, why are you stopping my printer? That's illegal. You cannot do this. So this became a big problem. Some customers, they filed case against HP. They filed a case against HP company that the ink is still left, but this chip stops the printer from working. This is illegal. Now, what was the solution? The solution was, in fact, it lasted for 3 years. The company was fighting the case with the customers for 3 years, and HP always said, we didn't do anything wrong. We have just installed the chip, and it is the minimum level of ink where it stops. So they were denying, but later, what was the solution? What did HP do finally? In 2010, that means after 5 years of fighting with the customers, they agreed to settle the suits. You understand? Settle the suits? Compromise. Okay, understood? Do you understand compromise? What does it mean? Compromise. Two people are fighting, and then you go and tell them, please compromise, don't fight. So, yeah, come to agreement, very good. So, you come to an agreement, and it is, you may say you lost. People who compromise, they say you lost, you were, you got scared. So, but think rationally, yani think in terms of an HP manager. Did they do right or wrong? They came to an agreement. So this is compromise. What compromise they did? They said, okay, let's forget this, we will compensate you, we will give the customers some compensation, and we will stop the chip from making the printer stop working. What will the chip do? Chip will indicate that the ink is low, and there was a statement, disclaimer, the levels may vary, yani the actual ink in the cartridge which is here. See here, these are the two cartridges, and on the bottom they started writing, this is estimate only, yani this is filled, the black cartridge, the colored also is full, but when it goes down, it will become empty. When it becomes empty, there will be a message to the customer, to the user, that ink level is low, please change the cartridge. But now after the case, HP has started writing, this is an estimate only, actual ink levels may vary. So now this is how they settled the case, they made some modifications. Why did they do this? First of all, what did you think? Did HP do anything wrong in the first place? If they installed a chip, and so there are 7 principles we studied. You should apply those 7 principles and think as a manager of HP, did I do anything wrong, and was there anything wrong for any stakeholder? So who is the main stakeholder who is affected here in the case of HP? Is it the owner, the investor, the employees, the customers, the government, the environment? Who is the stakeholder? Who is the most affected in this case? It is the customer. You are right. It is the customer. Now the question comes, we learned 7 principles. Okay, let's quickly revise: welfare, duty, rights, dignity, what else? Honesty and integrity. Did I miss anything? So the HP manager has to ask, HP manager will have to ask, did I follow all these 7 or not? Is there anything missing? Yeah, it is possible that when you took the decision, you took all care, but you missed this problem, that it is possible that the ink is still there in the cartridge, but the computer system will indicate that the ink level is low. See here, the notification level is there. This is the HP app. It's available even today. If you are using HP printer, you can download this app on your mobile phones or computers, and then you can see this detail, and it will tell you, see here, photo, it's going down, it's absolutely 0. All other colors are available. So the ink levels here. Now the question is here, did HP do anything wrong? It is possible. These are all discussions which are open. You all should take a stand. As a manager, you should take a stand. All of you, all 21 students who are there in the class of business ethics, you should learn to take a stand and also apply the principles of ethics that we are learning. So we know that HP might be wrong or not, but what they did was right. Why did they do this? Because they knew that if the customers are angry, all other stakeholders will become angry, will suffer. Investors, your profit will go down, and you must have seen many cases. We will take up some cases in the rest chapters about what happens if your customer is angry. What will happen? You will lose. But here again, you have to think that we are not going to do anything wrong, even if the customers become unhappy, no problem. Suppose you have to increase the price of a product because you are buying very good quality materials from the market. In order to save environment, your prices are going up. Now here, even if the customers become angry, they say, why did the price go up? You have to convince them through advertisements that what we did is good for society. Okay, so let's come back to this question I left you to. Why law is not enough? So law is not enough because we just saw the case of HP. When HP did this, there is nothing in the law that says that you cannot insert a chip in your cartridge, isn't it? And HP doesn't know. HP doesn't know that everything that is immoral is illegal. Maybe it is immoral that when you inserted the chip, you knew that even if this much of ink is left, the customer will have to change the cartridge. That way you will increase the sales of cartridge. So, but there is nothing in the law that could stop HP from doing this. Second, law is often slow to develop. So, now when HP did this, or there was a problem in environment, employees problem, in those cases, once the problem becomes big, it goes to the court. Court decides, okay, now there is a problem, people are smoking too much outside. Let's make a law that if you are found smoking outside in public places, there will be a fine of 500 riyals. But when did it happen? After a long time, after people started smoking, there were many people suffering, and after 10 years, 20 years, there was a law to stop it. So, law is slow to develop. Law is often applies moral concepts. Law is also not perfect, except our Sharia, which is perfect. You know, we can always say whatever is written in our book and Sunnah, the Quran and Sunnah and the Sharia, which is derived from it, that is perfect. It cannot be wrong. But the human laws, they can make mistakes. There are so many laws in the world where they have to amend it, change it. So, law, when it is made by human beings, as in business, you know, there are many cases of business where human beings will have to make some law. That may be right or wrong. So, that is also subjective and subject to changes. Lastly, law itself is often unsettled, and it has to, you know, one law has passed, it is a law. We have to charge 500 riyals from every smoker. Who made this law? Why 500 riyals? Why not 200? Why not 100? Why not just give a penalty? So, this law is often unsettled. So, some person, because human rights are on the top, human rights. A person who was smoking, he was fined 500 riyals. Now, he is angry. He says, I am not happy. Why did you charge 500? This is too much for smoking. He goes to the court and files a case, files a suit against the law. He says, it's illegal. You cannot charge me 500. I want to have a decision on this. Now, the court will, judges will sit, they will ponder over the case and then decide whether it is right or wrong. Possible that the person who filed the case will win, and the court will decide to lower the fine, or it may remain the same. But what we understand is that the law is also, human law is also often unsettled. So, because of this, ethics comes on the top. So, what HP did, it is possible that in their intention it was to just please the customers or whatever. We are keeping a good zan or good sense for them, for HP. They did it right because they didn't want to make the customers angry. So, after 5 years of fighting, they said, okay, stop, now we compromise, we will do this, are you happy? Customers were happy. They will now might have, you know, incurred some cost for making the changes, but in the end, when you consider the right of the customers, you satisfy him, it is ethical decision making. So, what makes it right or wrong for the companies, for the managers to decide, is it right or wrong? We should understand the elements of ethical decision making. So, now we come to a new part. It is not a new chapter, but the continuation of the same chapter. We will divide the business ethics into two parts. Now, listen carefully, because you know, this week you will have to, maybe this week or next week, I will take a quiz online for the syllabus that we have covered so far. So, you have to prepare. In the multiple choice questions, you have to be alert. So, the ethics in business, akhlaqiyat fil idarat al-amal, can be divided into two parts. One is the ethics of the marketplace. Market, simple, where buyer and sellers meet, they exchange products for money, that is market. And the second is the roles and relationships in business. Your roles and relationships as a manager, as an employee, as a customer, as a supplier, all those seven, and you are a company, there are different roles and relationships within that company. So we have to understand the ethical principles in these two dimensions, in these two frameworks. One, ethics in the marketplace where the transaction is taking place, and the other, ethics in the organization, inside the organization, where the production takes place, where the transaction, where the activity takes place for production, the goods are produced, services are produced. So business ethics can be divided in two parts. Now coming to the first part, in the market system, what are the features of this market system which we have to understand so that we can take ethical decisions? I hope don't miss the earlier discussions, stakeholders, 7 ethical decision making principles, and in continuation with that we have to see that we can divide the business ethics or as an organization. If we want to apply ethics, we should see ethics in two dimensions, one applied in the market and the other applied in the second one. Tell me, let me see if you understood. First is the ethics applied in the market where the buyers and sellers meet. The second is the ethics applied in where? In the did you understand? First is the market and the other is, so market is outside, external, and what is inside? Organization. Suppose you work in HP, you are working in Bin Laden, you are working in an university. So within the university, what you do, how do you teach, and outside the university, what your students are doing. Similarly, in the company, who your employees are, how they work, how is their work culture, how is their relationship, and outside in the market, how are the products selling, how is it available. So these are, so ethics in business can be divided clearly into two parts. One is the ethics in the market and the other is in the organization. So when we talk about the market, what do we learn about market? Market is a place where souk, simply souk. So market is a place where sales purchase take place. And when we say the market system, there is private ownership of resources. One person will have 1 million reals of resources, another person will have 2 million. I will have 1 acre of land, 1 acre or 10,000 square feet of land. Another person will have 1,000 square feet of land. I have 50 employees, the other person has 10 employees. These are the resources. So in the market system, there is a private ownership. When we say market, where buying and selling takes place, there is private ownership. People are owning something, and the goods and services produced in an economy. And with this resource, people produce goods and services. Now we also consider one point. Why do we produce goods and services in business? For, tell me, why will we produce? Tell me. In the market, another important characteristic of business is that we produce goods and services for profit. So these are the two main. So the third point, the profit motive. First of all, in the market, one of the traits is its private ownership of resources. Second, there is voluntary exchange, no force. Nobody is compelling, nobody is forcing the customers to buy HP. Nobody is forcing HP to sell to only in Saudi. They can sell anywhere. So, there is voluntary exchange. There is voluntary exchange, market is free, and third, there is a profit motive, where everything is done for profit. You produce, you exploit resources, produce and sell in the market. Now, within this framework, you have to take ethical decisions. So, this is concerned with the market. What about the assumption? The assumption in the market is that it is perfect. What is a perfect market? A perfect market is, tell me one thing, let me see if you have studied economics well. Tell me, in a perfect market, is there full control of the government on everything or not? There is no control of the government. The government is only as a watch, the government controls only the law system, but companies are free to. So, what do you say? In a perfect market, is there a complete control of the government on companies or not? What do you say? In a perfect market, the companies are operating themselves or the government is controlling how much to produce, what to produce, how to sell. The customers are also forced to buy this much, they cannot buy more than 10. What do you say? Is it fully, not full control? Yeah, Faisal is correct. In the perfect market, which is the absolute, which is not possible in this world, a perfect market, ethics in perfect market. In perfect market, there is full liberty for the buyers and sellers to buy. Everything is perfect. There is full implementation of ethics or morality in the market. Buyers know what they are buying, sellers sell what they are selling, and they tell everything to the customers. The customers know everything, knowledge is complete on both sides, to the buyer and the seller. With this assumption, we say that this is a perfect market. In a perfect market, is there any need for ethics? No. In a perfect market, where buyers and sellers have complete information of each other, all the stakeholders have full information of the company, of the performance, employees know everything about their rights, they are given, everything is transparent and perfect. In this type of a market, do we need any ethics or morality? It is not required, because everything is perfect. Everything is done harmoniously by voluntary, mutually advantageous cooperation. Buyers and sellers meet, they help each other, they buy the products that they like, there is no arguments, there is no fights. So, that is a perfect market. But is it reality or is it just a myth, a fancy? The answer is very clear cut, it is a myth. There cannot be a perfect market in this world. There will always be some imperfection. Sometimes the buyers, have you already taken strategic management? Have you completed that course? Idaratul Strategia. Have you heard about Michael Porter? This name? Have you heard his theory? You have to study in management? No. Okay. So, then I will not touch that, otherwise you will get confused. You know what happens? In the market, buyers can have more power or sellers can have more power. Sellers may be too big, very huge. Like, you buy something from Amazon, you buy something from any company, the prices are fixed. You can't do anything. Why? Because we are weak. We as individual or retail customers, we are weak. We go to the company, buy the product, the price is fixed. We cannot negotiate. We cannot say you have to sell this product to me on at this price. Why? Because we have less power. We have the power only to pay and buy the product. Whereas, if we are very big company and suppose you are Jama or Mulkhura and you have an event tomorrow, you want to buy Pepsi, you want say 10,000 bottles of Pepsi tomorrow. Now, the purchase manager of Jama will negotiate the price with Pepsi, because here Pepsi cannot say, oh no, it is fixed, we will pay, we will give you the products only at the fixed price. Why will not it do? Because it is a huge quantity, it is bringing a lot of revenue to Pepsi. So, here the power of Jama is higher and they will negotiate. So, this is mutually advantageous. So, in perfect markets there is little or no need for ethics. So, the ethics that applies when the condition for perfect markets do not exist. What do we understand? The reality is that there is no perfect market. Are you clear with perfect market, all of you? It is very important to understand. Are you clear? What do we understand by perfect market? So, who will just summarize it? Tell me, what do you understand by a perfect market? If I ask you to just give, all of you try, at least 5-6 students should try. Tell me, what did you understand from a perfect market? Because in perfect market, we don't need ethics. That there is no need for ethics in perfect market. Very good. What else? Why there is no need for ethics in perfect market? Why is there no need for ethics in perfect market? Tell me. Faisal, Yazid, Musanna is already, Muhammad, that it does not exist. Yani you say ethics does not exist in perfect market? No. Tell me the definition. Yes, very good, Musanna. Everything is clear for the stakeholders. Faisal said ethics. What is this? SODNT. Okay. Let me, Muhammad says perfect market does not exist in reality. That is true, but the question is here is what is perfect market, so that we know that there is a need for ethics. The internet has a big part to play in the creation of a big perfect market. That is all true. Do not go far, just limit yourself to telling what is a perfect market, what happens there in a perfect market. What did you understand from the discussion so far? One and again please. Yeah, 7 ethical principles in perfect market is not required, because perfect market is perfect. There is no need for ethics, as Musanna rightly said. And then he said everything is clear for the stakeholders. So, there is no need for any ethics in the perfect market. Why is there no need for any ethics or such course in a perfect market? Because everything is defined. Everything is defined. So, let us come back. Let me just revise again so that all of you are clear. In a perfect market, everyone is happy. Everyone is happy. Every decision is taken satisfying all the 7 stakeholders, satisfying all the 7 principles of decision making. Is it possible really? No. It is not possible in reality. Perfect market is not possible in reality, where buyers and sellers are knowing each other very well, all the information are available in the market. There will be something which is missing. So, that missing makes the market imperfect, and then we need ethics. And ethics is what? It is more than law, because, and why ethics applies to imperfect markets? Because, okay, let us see, there is some chat. Nothing is perfect in reality. There will be some discrepancy in the relationship between the stakeholders between the company and the stakeholders. So, when we apply ethics, it can be categorized into 4 categories. Market ethics, very important. Okay. What are the 4 categories of ethical problems or issues in market? Number 1, agreements or contracts. When you deal with a customer, even if you suppose you buy a mobile phone, Apple phone, do you get some you also get some book or a booklet or something like work, a card or the working model of the product. All the conditions, terms, warranty, guarantee, everything is written in that. You get a fatura or you get a card where everything is described. That is a contract between the seller and the buyer. The seller is telling you everything. You buy insurance product, you sign a contract, everything is written there. How much money will you get if there is an accident, what is your liability, what is the duration, everything is written in the agreements or the contracts. So, this is the first tool in the markets that do not exist as perfect. So, here when you write the agreement, ethics come into picture, because you will see many times there are many cases of breach of contracts, breach of agreements. The company promised that we will pay you, like for example, there are many superstores. Have you heard about Gap? GAP, Gap, this name, this brand name, Gap. What do they do, Gap? What do they do? What is their main speciality? Gap speciality. What do you find there in Gap stores? Mainly clothes. Very good, Mohammed Horair. Very good. So, in Gap stores you find clothes. It is a very important case. We discuss in supply chain management operations, especially in the services in Idarat al-Khadamat. What did they do? For the first time, Gap redefined the business model in retail storing. And what was the redefinition? They said anytime refund, anytime exchange policy. Before Gap, no other company was offering this policy to customers. So, this new CEO of Gap many years ago, they decided we have to increase our revenue, we have to become big. So, they said we will accept exchanges at any time, even after 1 year you go, and if the tag is intact, there are some conditions you have to meet. If you go to them, and now there are many companies like Red Tag here who are doing this, but other companies are giving 6 days, 7 days of exchange. Gap was the company that first gave unlimited, indefinite exchange time. This is an agreement, this is a contract. So, when I buy something from you, in the bottom of the fatura, in the bill, it is written anytime you can come and exchange. Now, what happens? There is a problem in the product. You took away the tag, price tag, and you did not know, it was not mentioned in the bill, in the fatura, that you have to keep everything intact. But when you go back to the store and you say that this is a problem, I want to exchange, they say, where is the tag? You say, I did not bring the tag, I threw it. What happens? there is the company says you had to bring the tag, without that we cannot accept. You say it's not written there. So, there is a problem. Now, it is an ethical problem. What should the company do? The company will have to think on those, the manager of the company will think on those 7 principles. Very recently, I will, very interesting case, an example. I will just take 5-10 minutes more and then stop. So, just bear with me. I saw myself one problem in a store here. There was a customer. The policy is that you do not get money back when you exchange your cloth in the store. You do not get money. But this customer, he was very angry. He came back, threw the cloth to the manager's desk and said, I want my money back. He said, we cannot give the money. You can take any other cloth, but there is no policy of giving the money. Then he started fighting. There was a huge chaos in the store. And finally, who won? Tell me, any guess who won this fight? Who was the winner finally? Tell me, what do you guess? It is a very recent example, I saw the customer, you are right. Finally, the customer, he was shouting so much and finally he won. The manager, the bigger manager, the top manager came downstairs and said, okay, how much is the price? So, the lower manager said, okay, this much. He gave the money and the mamla was khalas. So, the question is, in agreements there can be some discrepancy. So, we need ethics there. Number 2, avoiding force and fraud. You cannot force customers or the stakeholders to do certain things. But when we talk about market, there are 2 main stakeholders. Who are those in market? Buyers and sellers. So, these buyers and sellers, there should not be any force or fraud. We will take this up later in a chapter. Fraud is something someone does deliberately. For fraud, they do fraud, they cheating. Third, you should not, the buyers and sellers, especially the buyers, should not inflict wrongful harms on the customers. Like for example, someone sells a medicine and means, especially one example again, people become fat and obesity. Obesity is a sickness, it's a very common these days because we eat lot of junk, etc. We become obese, we become very fat, and then we go to doctors, or there are non-doctors also who sell medicines to become slim, thin, and they know that this medicine has a side effect, harmful effect. So, here what comes? The ethical principle. You have to tell, first of all, you do not have to sell that medicine. You do not sell a medicine which will inflict harm to the customer. So, in the market ethics, the third principle is not inflicting wrongful harms on the stakeholders, especially the customers. And finally, acting responsibly in cases of market failures. In case of market failures means any problem or damage to your product, like Samsung did. In HP case, it was also a market failure. Their product was not working well. So, what they did, they compromised. These are the 4 principles of market ethics. So, that is it. We have completed. What did we cover? Mainly very interesting, and I am sure when you will take the quiz, you will do revisions, it will become more interesting to you. And think of examples. And there are some examples I am giving you from outside the slides. Note down them, because when you write your exam, if it is written, it will help you. So, what did we learn? The ethical reasoning, then the 7 conditions, then the checklist. Third, why law is not enough. Remember the case study of HP, and finally the ethics, business ethics, 2 parts, the ethics in market. Okay, so that's it. We will stop here. Next day we will start with a new chapter and we will cover the ethics in organization and start from there. Oh, okay. So, let me take the attendance. Any questions from your side? Are you tired, bored? You want me to continue? In companies, they said customer always right. Yeah, you are right. They say customer always right. You are right. That's a principle they follow in companies. So, I will stop the recording first. This will